everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals, and today I have a tutorial for you making book page envelopes. So this is one of the first embellishments I ever made when I discovered junk journals back in 2017. And they're just so easy to do because all you need is a whole bunch of book pages, so any old book will do from the op shop. As you can see, I've almost used every page from this book, and if you can find a book where you can use the cover as well to make a journal out of, that's great. But yeah, basically all I'm doing is ripping out pages from these books and try to choose a book that has thicker pages, just so that when you fold them they're not going to crumble or anything, and they're just a nice thick weight. And also when you put things inside and you fold the flaps over, you know, everything's nice and sturdy. So a nice thicker type of book page is great. And then just from the humble book page you can create so many wonderful different envelope designs. So here's what it looks like when I've cut it down and folded it. Here's what it looks like when I stitch around the outside, and you could just have a plain envelope like that if you wanted. But it's fun when you get to decorate them. So some different ideas. I've used washi tape up here for these ones, different types of washi tapes. This one I used 2 washi tapes and just laid them on top of each other. But this one's really pretty. It's standalone washi tape with the florals. That's lovely. This one's got constellations. And then for the pocket part of the envelope, I've used some washi stickers and different vellum pieces and paper pieces. These ones I all got from Stationery Pal, and I'll have a link down below to Stationery Pal in the description box, along with a discount code that you can use. So all of these washi tapes also came from Stationery Pal. All of these came from Stationery Pal as well. Another idea, aside from using your washi tape at the top, is to use some sort of lace or ribbon. And so I've got just this neutral ribbon lace here, but you could definitely go for something a bit more colourful or something a bit more patterned, but got a lot of this, so I thought I'd use that. Another idea for the pocket part of the envelope is to use fabric. So any type of fabric that you have looks lovely, but I'm going for a sort of garden floral theme here. Oh, and this one I also used the washi tape, not just for the flap, but for the bottom here. So you can definitely use just washi tape to decorate. And you can use decorative papers, scrapbook papers, that kind of thing, to cover the top and bottom as well. I've also used napkins to make these. Beautiful tissue paper as well. Anything at all you can pretty much use to decorate these. These ones again are using fabric, and here is one with a ribbon at the top, very, very bright and colourful. Just showing you different types that you can make. So any materials that you have, honestly, you can go nuts making all different types of envelope designs. So let's get started making some here, and I'll give you some other ideas. So this one I've already pre-sewn around. If you're wondering why I haven't sewn around these ones, it's because when I go to add them to a book page, let me see if I can give an example. I like to sew it directly onto the page, and then that will close it up. So I'm going to sew down here, down here, down here, and I'll just take this straight to my sewing machine and sew it straight onto the page, rather than have it already sewn and then sew over it a second time or glue it down. This just saves a step if I just not have it sewed already, and when I sew it to the page, it sticks it to the page. So, no pun intended. I will make one from scratch, but first I just want to decorate this one to show you a different idea. I've got these little flowers, these stickers here. I thought maybe I could make a little wildflower garden underneath with these. Something like that would look really pretty. Or I could go something like, whoops, like that. Ooh, that's nice and striking. Yeah, really, really pretty. So I like both of those actually. I'm going to do both of them. So what I'll do, I'm going to do that here too. All right. Yeah. All right, so for these two, I'm going to decorate like that. As you can see, I've already sewn around the edge of this one. Because another thing to keep in mind is the stickiness. So sometimes sewing machines don't like going through stickers, and depending on what type of glue you use, the thicker the glue, sewing machines might not like that either. So I've just sewn so I can add things inside of the sewing marks rather than having to sew on top of, like if I had that at the edge, it might not go through. I wasn't sure back here, so I've tested out my sewing machine and I've worked out that it does go through. But yeah, my old sewing machine didn't. It wasn't strong enough. So it's something to keep in mind there. So I will make those ones later on and maybe do a whole bunch with these stickers. And all I'll do is glue that on top there. But let's make one from scratch for this tutorial video. Now let's just move these out of the way. Okay. So pulled out my book page here, and all I want to do is fold up the bottom here. And I'm not measuring anything. You can have envelopes all different sizes, and then you just fold this down the top like that. So depending on where you fold, you know, you could fold that up higher, you could have this a bit lower, depending on how wide you want your flap. And then you can always trim it down afterwards. Like I could go ahead and trim that off if I wanted. And you could have this pocket going all the way up to the crease, or a little bit down, or a lot down. Doesn't really matter. I like having a quite large pocket so that I can see more of the whatever's on it, if it's fabric or if it's beautiful decoration. I'm just looking here. I've got this beautiful fabric here with the florals. I'm going with the floral theme, and I could put it all the way to the top, or I could lower it here. Either way, let's just go ahead and put some glue down. So I've got just some clear craft glue, and what I'm going to do is just apply it in a thin layer, especially around the edges. So even though, yes, I've tested it and I know my sewing machine can get through that glue, I can only go through, for my speed and strength of the sewing machine, quite thin glue it needs. If it's a thick glob of glue, it might struggle. So I've put this right at the top, haven't I? So I probably would have kept that a bit lower, but see how it's flush against the top of that pocket? I could have put it lower if I wanted, but that is totally cool. And then all I'm going to do is trim off the excess. And yeah, I've used like all these book pages just making these envelopes. So from one book, you can make a lot of envelopes, and it gives you that room to play around with different designs that you might want to do. And you know me, I like doing everything in bulk so that I have lots on hand, and that way I don't feel like I need to hoard things. Like these ones I'm going to hoard because there's not that many of them. These ones I've been using in all sorts of journals because I've got quite a lot of them. So the more I can make, the more I am able to actually use them. So again, I'm just going to glue this down here. This lovely neutral lace. And yeah, I do look for more of the vintage style of book so that the pages are already lovely. And that way, you know, when you see the book page peeking through, that is totally okay because it sort of has that cream color tone and everything. Now, another idea, I could just leave it like that, and depending on what type of lace or ribbon or fabric you use for the top, could leave it like that. But here's another idea. Because this has a scalloped edge, I quite like trimming it along that edge, and that just makes it look very decorative. And that looks really lovely with that fabric. All right, so again, we'll try another one. If you want to follow along, grab a book page. We're going to fold it up. And all I'm doing is making sure this edge is lined up straight. And then folding this one down. And then trimming it, whoops, down here. Again, if you want a narrower envelope, you can just cut it down further. So, grab your fabric, grab your tissue paper, grab your napkin, grab your book page, grab your scrapbook paper, grab whatever you want, and use that to decorate your pocket part of the envelope. Now I'm going to just put it a little bit below the top edge, so this time it isn't flush against that edge, just to show you the difference. And it's just personal preference of what you want to do. Also, another little tip, like if you only have so much amount of the paper or fabric that you're using, this can save you a little bit of it. If you don't have enough to go all the way to the edge, this just makes it go around a little bit further, trimming off the excess, so I have another piece for another envelope there. And like I said, you could sew the edges down now once you've glued it down, or wait until you know what you're going to do with it. Sometimes I will paper clip this into a journal, so then I would sew it, pre-sew it. But if I'm going to add it as a pocket, then I will want to sew it directly to the page. All right, so I can tell that this flap is quite large, but that is totally okay because I will just trim that down. So we'll grab the lace, and this time I'm going to put it this way so the texture is facing up. Trim that down. Now, I could trim it here, and that would still be nice like that. I could trim it flush, and that's lovely too. Or I can go ahead and do the scalloped edges. Either one of those is totally okay. It's just a matter of personal preference and working with the materials you have. All right. So very, very simple, quick and easy project you can do. This way you can nut out, you know, a bulk lot in no time. Very relaxing afternoon or evening or night doing this. For me, I watch, no, I don't watch, I listen to podcasts. Psychology in Seattle is my favorite. But I know lots of you guys might put on a movie or watch some Netflix or something. So yeah, I am loving it. And you can see here we've got quite a large pocket one, and this one's quite narrow. All right, those are the two new ones, and I'll go ahead and do these ones as well. I might, sew that one first before I stick those on. And just great way to use up fabric scraps too. Like you don't need too much fabric to do this. But yeah, look, I just love making these. And then you have so many on hand. I put one in every journal that I make from now on, type of thing. So yeah, I will do those off camera and finish off making some more of these, finish off using the pages in the book. Hope you have fun making envelopes to your heart's delight. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.